Well, today we're going to go through all of the Nucs that were swarms. I'm pretty sure with the point that they need to be moved into deep boxes. So I'm going to do that. Of course, my inventory sheet doesn't match my inventory, so I've got to pick the two best boxes out here that need it the worst and switch those out. And then after that, I'll have to run out to the bee store and buy more equipment, unfortunately. So I really wanted to be able to get all these Nook boxes into deeps today, but only two. Also today, planning on reinstalling my adjustable hive stand. I took it off a while back because I'm fabricating some of my own and needed to have measurements and a prototype to go off of. It's just sitting on cement blocks right now, so I'm going to hopefully be able to put that back together. Actually, the way I'm looking at it, that might not even happen today because I don't think I brought the right tools. That's pretty much par for the course, but hey, let's get to it. Got things to do. Grab a hive tool. Not that one. That's the one I want. Grab this hive tool. Grab this J-bar. Stick them in my pocket. Stick it in your pocket. There we go. Make sure the smoker's going. And so we're just going to basically work our way down the line here. So of these three, or of these four, I can count. 1, 2, 3, 4. The third one down here, I think it didn't make it, but I actually think that it didn't have anything in it to begin with. It was an after swarm or a partial swarm. These other guys, I have my doubts about you, but now you still seem like you're okay. I couldn't find a queen. These guys are doing great. To come down along the line here, that's the swarm that was in the blackberry bushes over there. You probably can't see it there. Whoo, man, they were hot. I've never had a swarm that hot. And then if you look all the way down, you can see that other swarm, and they're doing pretty good. I'm gonna determine what two boxes get deeps on them today, because my inventory sheet, as I said before, didn't match my inventory. And so we'll kind of see. I wonder if I can get these out. I can't. That's gonna be a job for another day. Darned. I didn't bring my stuff, but we can make that happen. Okay, so let's get at it. I'm gonna pull these feeders off the front. They don't need them anymore, but I'll do that last because it sends a bit of a message. And I'm gonna clean up a spot for the smoker so it doesn't light everything on fire. So let's take a peek here and see what we got going on. Okay, I'm just gonna puff a little smoke up in there. So they're building wax, and they wouldn't be doing that if there wasn't a queen in there. And I'd really like to take a peek in here and see if I can see any eggs or larvae or capped brood. And if so, that will tell me that we've got a queen. Which I really didn't think we did. But if you can see in there, right here, this is all capped brood. I'm not going to get into this too much. This hive is still building out. Okay, that's good news. I did not think that there was a queen in here. Last time I went into this hive and looked, there were very few bees, and that was probably the most elusive queen I've ever seen. So I'm going to give them just a little more bee space on this side. And bee space just gives them the space they need between frames. Gave them just a little bit too much there. to build out. So these guys are fine, and we're going to close them back up. We're going to let them do their thing. I'm actually thinking that since they still need to build wax, I'm going to be out here in the next day or two. I might even come back out this afternoon, and I'll put a new jar of sugar water on there. Okay, so let's now go to Hive 2 and check that out. Well, not really Hive 2, it's more like Nook 2. Again, let's take a peek here. I'm going to calm them down just a bit. Oh, they have really stuck that top down, so I'm going to have to really pry to get this open. I think that they have built comb all the way to the top. Nope. A little bit though. Got honey going in there. They will fix that all on their own. I'm going to leave you guys sitting this way to do your thing while I do my thing in here. Okay, these guys are busting. This may be a very strong candidate. Come on, smoker. Yeah, this is a very prime candidate to get switched over, because if you can see, so it's all honey over here, and when I pull these out, and again, I was talking about bee space here on Nook 1. I didn't leave enough Nook space or enough bee space on this, so this is gonna be a mess when I pull it out. Yeah, these guys, I'm going to say, since I'm looking at basically 5 frames of bees, they're going to end up being a prime candidate. Okay, moving down the line, we will just lightly put you guys back together. Okay, now we're going to go to number 3. In number 3, you can probably already tell by the crazy amount of activity that there's nothing really going on here. But what I'm going to do is pull this out and see what kind of resources I've still got left in here. You know, leaving it as it was, the bees will probably rob most stuff out, but it's always good to have a few more resources at home. But yeah, so this ended up being a couple of hive beetles and a whole lot of nothing, and just a lot of wax that was chewed as the bees were robbing this out. You can kind of see the wax in the bottom there, and that's just from the bees chewing up the wax to get to the clumsy, to get to the honey. Okay, this will go home with me then. Gives us a little more space as well. And get the errant bees out of here. And a cockroach. Mmm, tasty. Cockroaches love beehives. Bees don't love cockroaches. Hey, so that's number 3. Okay, Nook number 4. Just a little puff. Not too much. Boy, they've pried these down. That's why I don't like to leave them in nooks too long, because given the chance, they'll do whatever they can to build errant comb. This one's not so bad, but these guys are ready too, as you can see. So we've got really basically 5 full frames of bees on it, so they're gonna start running out of space real quick. So I want to get them into a box as well. So I've got 2 boxes, and I've got one down here that I know is probably chock full too. So a little bit concerned, but we'll figure it out, won't we, Dave? Man alive, they just went at it. Okay, so now let's go down all the way down the line and check on which would be Nook box 5, and we'll see where they're at, and then we can get on with the process of switching them over. Okay, so this is the newest swarm. Not too new, because you've seen 3 swarms in a day video. That was just part of a 9 swarm 10-day period. It was just crazy. All of a sudden there was no swarms whatsoever anywhere. You know, I mean, even social media, the local beekeepers club, it's like, so it was weird. It was like the swarm season was 2 weeks long and then just stopped. So I don't know what's going on, but that's okay because I'm at 20 hives right now, if you include the garden club in managing those hives. And that's really what I want to do. Remember, I'm a founder, owner, sole employee. So there's just so much that I can really handle, and there's only so much I really need because I thought this was a hobby. Let's take a peek here. Nice face plant. Maybe I should adjust a little bit. So let's take a peek and see what we got going here. Oh Lord. Okay. Well, that just blows me away. Okay, so this is truly the busiest of all of the hives. I'm just really kind of blown away. I am going to pull something apart right now. I'm going to take a peek and look at this frame, possibly this frame, and see how much they've built out, or if there's brood on it. It feels as though they've also done what I didn't want them to do, and that's they glued themselves to the bottom. No, I guess not. I guess I'm free. Slowly pull this out and take a peek. They are full. Okay. So I'm going to carefully put this back in because I don't want to roll the queen and make a plan of action here. So we're going to close them back up for a few minutes and give everybody a chance to chill out here. This one's definitely got to be replaced. So the basic process is pretty simple. You got a box, a fresh box, and so these Nucs have 5 frames in them. Got to have another 5 frames, and they'll build these out pretty quick. So I'll take this Nuc and I'll put it on top of this box. I'll put the bottom board down. I'll take this hive body and I'll put it on top, and then I just start moving frames over. I mean, it's really that simple. Then you got a lot of bees left in it. I basically tip this over on its side, put it next to it, put a cover mostly on it, and the bees will march in. I close it up and we're done. No worse the wear, and things should go smoothly. Famous last words. Let's get on with it. So there'll be a bit of disruption as I pick these guys up carefully and move them over here. They are very heavy, which is a good thing. The shims will go on right now underneath. You just want to tip things forward a little bit just in case there's a bit of runoff, but that shouldn't be an issue here too much because I use these screened bottom boards. Get this positioned where I need them to be. Take out 2 frames to give me room to work. Okay, we're gonna lift this up a touch and give them a tad of smoke, and then hopefully let things go smoothly. Let's put these guys here for now. And I want to move everything over exactly as it is in the box. No disruption, as little disruption as possible. And if I'm calm, cool, and collected, they won't even know what happened. That is all capped honey, and I'm actually assuming these are eggs, or there's a... Anyway, so what's cool is you can see how the brood, how they build brood. So they've moved the honey to the outside and the brood goes to the inside, and then over here on the right is pollen, and that's pollen that they will eventually then be feeding to larvae that is uncapped and ready to go. Okay, let's bring number 2 over carefully. I don't want to squish any bees, and I've talked about this before. They send out an alarm pheromone when a bee dies. So you don't want to create more stress than necessary. This is all great brood. That's exciting to see. I'm going to bring them in. I'm going to carefully bring this over because I want 2 frames on one side. Okay, get these girls out of the way. Oh my God, look at the brood. Holy macanoli. Okay, well, they do need space, that's for sure, because the queen will run out of space real quick. Yeah, this is a booming hive, and I think booming enough that I might well see them build out enough. And I'm going to keep this as a single deep, and as soon as they get these other frames built out, wow, I'll put a honey super on top of this. I don't want to squish that too much. And frame 5. Got a couple curious guard bees on me, but nothing out of control. You've seen out of control before. Okay, and this, as it should be, is honey and brood. So I would suspect the queen's on this. I'm not going to worry about it. I obviously can see that the queen is doing her thing. I'm going to get them in and settled as fast as I can. You just carefully slide everybody over, and you go slow enough that every bee gets out of the way. Then I take my other 2 frames, and you can already see them on top of that frame. So this is wax frame. This is all wax, and the bees will build out on this. A lot of times they just chew all the way through it and then build. I like these because they build fast and they build natural. They'll build some that will be drone comb. They'll build other that is just regular comb. But overall, it works great. Okay, so we're going to move that frame over. I'm going to give them some bee space on this side. I'm going to put an inner cover on. Inner cover. This is the inner cover that is broken, so I will buy a new one of those. This guy goes here. This guy goes on its side. I'm going to get this feeder jar off because they won't need that. One errant bee that just won't give it up. Okay, and now I take this cover, put it here. These bees will catch the scent of that. I take this and I turn it on its side. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to turn it over. By the time I come back, they'll all be back into this other hive and they'll start fanning. So there you have it. That's how you do it. That was pretty easy peasy. Worked out pretty well. Checking out what the bees are doing, and I guess they're eating a little bit of that honey that was down there, and it's going to be time to move on. So here we go. This one, actually this whole hive stand is going to move back because I'm building a new one. But boy, am I going to need help lifting these boxes. I can tell you that. So we're just going to slide this one over as far as I can without causing too much disruption, I hope, in order to put the next one in. This will be going right here, and I'll put the box on, and I think you're going to be surprised at how fast bees start foraging back into this box. You can see they're a little confused because they're coming back, but there's nothing there. Put these again, just like the other one, put the frames up here, and we're gonna take the cover off of these carefully. We'll set this to the side. I'm moving along pretty quick here. I'm gonna just throw a little smoke to kind of just cause a little confusion, and we're gonna start moving over. Since I took this out last time, it should come out pretty easy. Move these guys over carefully. Being very careful causes a little carnage as possible. Let's see if we can move these guys. That's a lot of solid brood. Look at that. Keep moving over. Macanoli, look at the brood on that. These guys are crazy. These guys are going to town. So then you got all that brood starting that will come out in a few days and weeks. And when that happens, you didn't see that, eh? Okay, good. I saw. A swarm cell, which would not be a good thing. Let's get these guys back together. They're a little confused, but I think they're doing okay. One more frame to move. We'll set the box up, get the covers on. Thought maybe we'd see a queen there, but nope. They can be pretty elusive, and for good reason. We carefully slide these in, and no worse for wear. Bee space, and we're done. Other than getting all those bees into this box, which they should march pretty quickly here. Anyways, that's how you do it. Inner cover. Scoot the bees out of the way. This is a little trickier because this box is going to have to go upside down on it. So let's get this feeder off. Let's take this box. I'm actually going to flip it backwards so that I don't have bees foraging into it. And we'll leave that like that for a few minutes. And that's how you move a Nuc. So not real complicated. You try to do as little disruption as possible. They'll move in there. They'll be comfy and cozy, and things should be good. So we're gonna get on with it. I'm actually gonna go down the line here and check the honey supers on these, and that'll give these guys time to get all back into the box, close them up, and we'll be done. It's starting to get cloudy, so I don't want to be out here too long. So let's get to it.